here first. And Spike Crothers and Dick Proenneke built that other cabin over there in 1967 as a guest cabin to the Crothers.
Oh wow, I don't even know if I read about that in the book.
There's a picture of the two of them working on that.
Really?
Well, you can barely see it right now, but Dick Proenneke's ashes are on that little rounded,
Oh yeah.
that rounded peak you can see right up through there.
Yep.
He called it My Mountain, and we call it Proenneke Peak now. But the park asked his brother, his only living relative, where he should be, and Raymond Proenneke said up on that mountain that he called My Mountain, so we took his ashes up there.
That's cool.
Well, just beautiful, beautiful poles, and I didn't want to make firewood out of them, and I didn't want them leaning up against a tree down there, and we had a use for a little table here, so the tops of each of the 4 poles are the legs, and then the next section down I ripped in half to make the little top. So that's how that little table came. As far as I can tell, the wood chips from making it were still piled on the inside, so I don't think he ever stayed here. Here's this little kicker.
That's Dick's little kicker, 3.5.
And here's the little handle that comes off, and then there's a 4-foot handle at the base of his bed in his cabin that goes on there, so he could kneel it midship and steer it. And
Did you say that was a Sears kicker?
a Sears, yep, says Sears 3.5. Here's a little throttle with a little green parachute cord tied onto it and coming over to this little handmade pulley on each side. And then that pulley's just taped onto the cowling of the motor. And then the parachute cord would have come up forward to tie onto the thwart of the canoe. And he could pull those 2 cords. But, you know, I thought it was wonderful until I put it on the canoe this year and tried it. And it has no neutral, it has no reverse, and it has no shutoff. So what looked like a really good idea to use in really bad waves, which was the only time he used it, all of a sudden seems to me almost suicidal, because you can't start it with the bow on the beach. You have to start it by getting out in those great big waves, and he, as an old man that was already losing his balance, would have had to be pushing it out, get in the canoe in those big waves, kneel down, facing backwards, and start this thing. And then it runs fast, even at low speeds, in that real lightweight canoe. And you're having to then stand up, go over that thwart, and get down on your knees in midship. And once you get down there, then it operates good. But I think it was, I can't imagine him doing it. I'm not going to do it in the big waves.
That's rough. What do you know what year that motor is?
Well, my guess is that it's an early 60s. And his canoe dates back from the early 60s too. It's not a Grumman, it's an Elgin canoe. It's not written on there, but I researched it and it looks like an Elgin canoe.
All right. Well, thanks for showing me that. That's kind of neat.
2 military crampons that were Dick's. And you can see, just like everything else, that these are real lightweight steel, and then he would have used wire to tie that one together, a little piece of gas can metal wrapped around that one to tie it together when it broke, and then these little wire heel straps that he made. So he used these a lot, along with the crampons that's up there next to his woodshed. He traveled a lot on the ice. Here's another little pair of mountaineering crampons, and they look very used to me. There's another pair of real long spiked mountaineering crampons in that box, and they don't look used at all. pair of boots that he's cut off to make gaiters out of.
Wow.
Let's see, here's another thing he'd love. A pair of skis that he made out of spruce. Probably 7 feet long anyway, maybe 7.5 feet long. And there's a little bit of fuzzed up spruce for about 4 or 5 inches right here, and the same thing in the back, which tells me he used them a little bit, but not a lot. I think if he would have used them very much, it would have shown more use on the bottom. He had those, and he made his own heart of binding. And he would have used these out on the lake in April and May when the ice got rotten, so that he could cross the lake in that rotten ice a few weeks longer. So,
Well, thanks for showing me this. I appreciate it. I really like seeing that motor. That's something. That is cool. And
you can look right at the foot of his bed. There's a 4-foot stick, and this is a log dog. And why he had it here, I have no idea. But I think what it is a version of this tool right here that wasn't his. But well, this was here actually. But this would be to drive in, if you were making a raft of logs in the lake, you could drive this in one log, maybe have here where the logs are so little, you might have 1 or 2 logs in the middle, and then you would drive this in another log. And this is a commercial, I mean, this one isn't commercial. This is made out of old rebar steel. But I think somebody gave him a little log dog. And some reason it broke apart, and that's what he used to make these things. And you can actually tell that he made it with this, because the holes, if I cut it with a knife, then all 4 of these would have a sharp, all 4 of the little bends would have a sharp point on it. And there's some of these you can see has a little square.
right.
That is the tip of this thing. And because it's not sharp, so it tears out the first piece and then it splits it. And so it shows this is what he used, and it's just so fun for me. I mean, you got to have something out here to entertain yourself. Finding these new how Dick made things is that fun for me. So,
That, yep, fits exactly. That's neat.
so that's my work for today.
Cool.
I don't have the.
So that's the original cash ladder and his original sawhorse
Yep.
that he used for building. Wow.
Yep.
And you're right, the little wires going through each step. That's amazing.
Now you can see how light he made that. A little lighter than mine,
Yeah.
but then this one wouldn't be safe for people to climb.